Captain Han looked at the big screen in front of him. The red dot was moving too perfectly to be just a rock in space. He had worked in the Korean Space Defense Force for 15 years, and he had never seen anything like this. "Sir, the object is slowing down," said one of his team members. "Nothing natural moves like that." Han nodded. "Call the general. Tell him we have a situation." Within hours, the whole world knew something was coming. Space centers in America, China, and Europe all tracked the same object. News channels showed the same pictures over and over, a large dark shape moving toward Earth. Han barely slept that night. When his phone rang at 4 a.m., he was already awake. "Captain, you need to come in now," said General Park's voice. "The object is sending a message." Dr. Jian Kim was eating breakfast when her TV screen changed to show the president's face. She almost dropped her coffee. "Citizens of Earth," the president said, his face serious. "Today, we are not alone. An alien ship has entered our orbit and is sending messages to Earth. They call themselves the Na'vi." Jian couldn't believe what she was hearing. For 10 years, people had laughed at her research on possible alien life. They called her work a waste of time. Now the president was talking about actual aliens. Her phone rang. It was the Science Ministry. "Dr. Kim, we need you in Seoul immediately. A helicopter is coming to get you." 3 hours later, Jian sat in a room with military leaders and government officials from around the world. On a big screen, they showed the message from the aliens. "We are the Na'vi," said a calm voice in perfect Korean. The same message played in English, Chinese, Russian, and many other languages. "We come in peace to share knowledge with humanity. We request permission to land and meet your leaders." "How do we know they're telling the truth?" asked an American general. "We don't," said Han, who sat across from Jian. "But if they wanted to attack, why announce themselves?" The room argued for hours. Finally, they decided to allow one small alien ship to land in a remote area in Australia. No one lived there for hundreds of miles. "Dr. Kim," said the Korean president, "you will join the welcome team. Your research may help us understand these visitors." Jian nodded, trying to hide her excitement and fear. The landing site was ready. 3 days later, military forces from 20 countries surrounded the area, hiding behind hills and in bunkers. Captain Han led a team of 50 soldiers, all trained for the worst. "Remember," he told his team, "we are not here to fight. We are here to protect the scientists and leaders. Only act if there is a clear threat." Jian stood with a group of scientists and diplomats on a flat piece of land. Above them, the sky was clear blue. Then, a dark spot appeared and grew larger. The alien ship was beautiful. It looked like glass or crystal with no sharp edges. It made almost no sound as it landed in front of them. For a full minute, nothing happened. Then part of the ship's side opened up. 3 beings walked out. They looked almost human but were taller and thinner. Their skin was pale blue and their eyes were large and dark. They wore simple white clothes that seemed to glow slightly. One of the aliens stepped forward. "I am Commander Taiho. On behalf of the Na'vi people, I thank you for allowing us to visit your world." The United Nations Secretary spoke for Earth. "We welcome you to our planet. We have many questions, and we have many answers to share," said Taiho, smiling in a way that looked almost human. "We have visited thousands of worlds and met hundreds of intelligent species. But humans are special in ways you don't yet understand." Han watched carefully from his position. Something about the aliens didn't feel right to him. They seemed too perfect, too prepared. Later that day, the aliens met with Earth's leaders in a specially built meeting room. Jean sat next to experts from other countries, taking notes on everything the aliens said and did. "Our people have traveled the stars for over 10,000 years, Taiho explained. "We wish to share technology and knowledge with humans. We believe Earth is ready to join the galactic community." "Why now?" asked the Chinese president. "Why not 50 years ago, or 50 years from now?" Taiho's smile never changed. "The time is right. Your technology has reached a level where our help will be most useful. Han, standing against the wall, noticed how the alien avoided the real question. Why Earth? Why humans? As the meeting continued, the aliens offered to share medical technology that could cure many diseases. They showed small devices that could clean polluted water and air. They promised to teach humans how to build better spaceships. It all seemed too good to be true. When Dr. Kim asked about the Navi's home planet, the aliens became less clear. They talked about a system many light years away, but gave no specific location. After 6 hours of talks, everyone was tired. The meeting ended with plans to continue discussions the next day. That night, Han couldn't sleep. He reviewed recordings of the meeting on his tablet. Something was bothering him about the aliens' voices. He called Dr. Kim. "I can't explain it," he said when she answered. "But I think they're hiding something." "I feel the same way," said Jian. "They answer questions without really answering them. And did you notice how they kept looking at the ancient artifact display in the corner? A collection of cave paintings shouldn't interest such advanced beings." Han hadn't noticed that. "Can you send me pictures of those paintings?" 20 minutes later, he was looking at images of 50,000-year-old cave art found in Korea's Jeju Island. The paintings showed strange geometric patterns and circles. His phone rang again. It was Jian. "Captain, I found something strange in the audio recordings," she said, her voice excited. "There's a hidden frequency in their speech. They're saying one thing to us, but there's another message underneath." "Can you decode it?" Han asked. "I need help. My friend Sunwoo works in signals intelligence. He can help us, but we need to keep this quiet. If the aliens find out we know about the hidden messages—" "I understand," said Han. "Tell me where to meet you." The next morning, Han, Jian, and Lieutenant Sunwoo met in a small office at the Korean Space Defense Headquarters. "I've been working all night," said Sunwoo. He looked tired but excited. "The hidden message is encrypted, but I've found patterns. Some words come through clearly. Search, confirm, and extraction." "Extraction of what?" asked Hanji and pointed to her computer screen. "I've been comparing notes with other scientists. The aliens have been asking for access to human genetic research facilities." Han looked at the cave paintings again. "And they're interested in our oldest human sites. What if they're looking for something in us? Something that's been here for thousands of years?" A security alert sounded on Han's phone. The aliens were requesting permission to visit Jeju Island, specifically the caves where the ancient paintings were found. They said they want to learn about human history. Han read from the message. "But I think they already know more about our past than we do." The three looked at each other as the truth began to dawn on them. The Na'vi hadn't come to share knowledge. They had come to take something hidden in humanity's past, or perhaps in humanity itself. "We need to get to Jeju Island before they do," Jian said. "Whatever they're looking for, we need to find it first." Han nodded. "Pack what you need. We leave in 1 hour." The race to discover the truth about why aliens had really come to Earth had begun. The helicopter flew low over the green hills of Jeju Island. Captain Han looked down at the beautiful land below. On any other day, he might have enjoyed the view. Today, his mind was full of worry. "How much time do we have?" asked Dr. Jian Kim, who sat next to him. "The alien ship won't land for 3 hours," Han said, "but we need to work fast." Lieutenant Sunwoo checked his equipment one more time. "I've brought cameras and listening devices. If the Na'vi come here, we'll know what they do and say." The helicopter landed in a field near the caves. The three hurried along a narrow path that led into the hills. The cave entrance was small, just a dark hole in the side of a grassy hill. "These caves were found 60 years ago," Jian explained as they walked inside. "The paintings are about 50,000 years old." Han turned on his flashlight. The beam showed a long tunnel going deep into the earth. The walls were damp and the air smelled old. After walking for 10 minutes, they reached a large room in the cave. Han's light showed paintings on the walls. Circles, lines, and strange shapes that didn't look like anything in nature. "Why would aliens care about these?" Han asked. Jian touched one of the paintings gently. These aren't just random drawings. Look at the patterns. They repeat with small changes, like a code or language. Sun Wu set up small cameras in corners, where they couldn't be easily seen. He also placed listening devices near the cave paintings. Now we wait, said Han. Back at their hotel, they watched Sun Wu's laptop screen. It showed the empty cave from 4 different angles. The Na'vi delegation has landed on Jeju, Han said, reading a message on his phone. They're being taken to the caves now. An hour later, the screen showed light entering the cave. 6 figures walked into view, 3 humans from the Korean Historical Society and 3 Na'vi aliens. We will show you the main paintings, said one of the human guides. They are some of the oldest human art ever found. Commander Taiho nodded politely, but his eyes moved quickly around the cave as if searching for something specific. Can we see all the chambers? He asked. There are many small tunnels and rooms, said the guide. Some are not safe. We would like to see them anyway, said Taiho. His voice was still friendly, but there was a new firmness in it. The guide looked uncomfortable, but nodded. As you wish. Please follow me. Han, Jian, and Sun Wu watched as the group moved deeper into the cave system, out of view of the cameras. They're looking for something specific, whispered Jian. An hour passed before the group returned to the HFY main chamber. The 3 Na'vi were talking to each other in their own language, a series of musical sounds. Sun Wu, can you record that? Asked Han. Already doing it, Sun Wu replied. The Na'vi stopped talking when the human guides turned to them. The group left the cave and the screen went dark again. They'll be back, said Han. Tonight when no one is watching. Han was right. At 2 a.m. the cameras showed new light in the cave. 2 Na'vi entered alone. They moved quickly to a section of the wall where the paintings were densest. One of them took out a small device that glowed with blue light. He pointed it at the wall, and patterns on the rocks lit up in response, patterns that had been invisible before. Are you seeing this? Whispered Jian, leaning toward the screen. The Na'vi spoke excitedly to each other. The listening devices picked up their words, but the sounds made no sense to human ears. The aliens worked for almost an hour, scanning different parts of the cave. Then they stopped at one particular spot. Both aliens put their hands on the wall and pushed. A section of rock moved aside, revealing a hidden space. From this small hole, one Na'vi took out an object that glowed with soft green light. It was about the size of a football but shaped like a many-sided diamond. The 2 aliens studied the object, then carefully put it in a container. They closed the hidden hole in the wall, making it look like nothing had ever been there. Then they left the cave. We need to get that object, said Han, already standing up. Wait, said Sun Wu. He was typing quickly on his computer. I'm running their language through a translation program, using what we learned from their official messages. A minute later, the computer played back some of what the Na'vi had said, now translated into Korean. Confirmation acquired. The architects were here. The genetic safeguard remains intact within the indigenous population. Begin Phase 2 extraction. The 3 humans looked at each other. Who are the architects? Asked Han. And what do they want to extract from us? Added Jian, her face pale with worry. The next morning, Han called an emergency meeting with government officials. He showed them the video from the cave. The aliens are hiding their true purpose, he explained. They took something from the cave, something that was hidden there thousands of years ago. General Park frowned. This is concerning, but not proof of bad intentions. There's more, said Jian. She opened her laptop and showed slides of DNA patterns. The Na'vi have asked to study human genetic material. They say it's to help with medical research, but I think they're looking for something specific in our DNA. What could aliens want with human DNA? Asked a minister. We don't know yet, said Jian. But their hidden message mentioned genetic, safeguard, and extraction. I think something was hidden in human DNA long ago, maybe by these architects they mentioned. Hidden in our DNA? General Park looked doubtful. How is that possible? Much of human DNA has no known purpose, Jian explained. Scientists call it junk DNA because we don't understand what it does. But what if it's not junk? What if it's a message or tool left by advanced beings thousands of years ago? The room was quiet as everyone thought about this. There's one more thing, said Han. The Na'vi are inviting humans to visit their ship for what they call cultural exchange. But after what we've seen, I'm worried about their real plans. Lieutenant Sunwoo, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. I volunteer to go. I can pretend to be excited about meeting aliens. Maybe I can learn what they're really doing. General Park shook his head. It's too dangerous. It may be our only chance to learn the truth, Sunwoo argued. If they are planning something bad, we need to. No. After more discussion, they agreed to Sunwoo's plan. He would join the next group of visitors to the Na'vi ship. 1 week later, Dr. Kim sat in her lab, studying samples of ancient human remains. If something had been hidden in human DNA long ago, perhaps she could find traces of it. Her phone rang. It was Han. Jian, turn on your TV, he said, his voice urgent. She did. Every channel showed the same news. More Na'vi ships had entered Earth's orbit, not one or two, but dozens. Their peaceful visit was starting to look more like the beginning of an invasion. We're running out of time, said Han. Sunwoo is on the Na'vi ship now. We need to find out what they want with our DNA before it's too late. As Jian looked at her computer screen, a pattern in the ancient DNA caught her eye. It wasn't random junk at all. It was too perfect, too structured. Han, she said slowly, I think I found something. The Na'vi are right. There is something hidden in our genes. Something put there on purpose. By who? Asked Han. By someone who came to Earth long before humans built cities or wrote books, said Jian. Someone who left a message in the one place it would be carried through time. In us. Lieutenant Sunwoo tried to look calm as he walked through the shining hallways of the Na'vi ship. Inside, he was nervous. 20 humans had been invited for this cultural exchange, and Sunwoo had to pretend he was just an excited scientist. The ship was beautiful. The walls glowed with soft light, and there was music in the air that seemed to come from nowhere. The other humans looked around with wide eyes and open mouths. This way, please, said a Na'vi guide named Miho. We will show you our medical bay first. Sunwoo touched the small button on his shirt. It looked normal, but it was actually a camera and microphone that sent signals back to Earth. Han and Jian would see everything he saw. The medical bay was large and clean. Strange machines lined the walls. In the center was a row of beds that seemed to float in the air without supports. We would like to offer you all a health scan, said Miho. It is painless and takes only a minute. We can detect any illnesses you may have. The other humans nodded eagerly. Sunwoo hesitated but knew he had to blend in. He lay down on one of the floating beds as instructed. A light moved over his body from head to toe. It felt warm but not uncomfortable. When it was done, Miho looked at a small screen and smiled. You are very healthy, she said. Now we have a small request. Would you be willing to give a blood sample? It helps us understand human biology better. Sunwoo hadn't expected this. He looked around and saw the other humans already agreeing. Of course, he said, trying to sound eager. A machine took a small amount of blood from his arm. It didn't hurt, but Sunwoo felt uneasy. What were the Na'vi really looking for in human blood? Back on Earth, Dr. Kim worked day and night in her lab. Professor Do-hyun, a famous geneticist, had joined her team. The pattern repeats in every human sample we've tested, said Jian, pointing to her computer screen. It doesn't matter if the person is Korean, African, European, or from any other background. The same code is there in the DNA we used to call junk. Professor Do-hyun nodded. And you say it looks like it was put there on purpose? Yes. Natural DNA has random changes over time. This section hasn't changed in at least 50,000 years. That's not natural. Han walked into the lab. He looked tired. Any news from Sunwoo? Asked Jian. Yes, said Han. The Na'vi are taking blood samples from all their human visitors. Sunwoo overheard two Na'vi talking when they thought no humans could understand them. They said the extraction process would begin soon. Extraction of what? Asked Professor Do-hyun. We think they want something from our DNA, said Han. Something hidden there long ago by these architects they mentioned. Jian turned back to her computer. I've been thinking about what this hidden code might be. What if it's not just information but instructions? A way to build something? What kind of thing? Asked Han. I don't know yet, said Jian. But I'm getting closer. On the Na'vi ship, Sun Wu pretended to sleep in the room given to him. When the lights dimmed, he carefully got up and opened the door. The hallway outside was empty. He had memorized the ship's layout as best he could during the tour. Now he moved silently toward a section the humans hadn't been shown. At the end of a long hallway, he found a large door. It was locked, but he had prepared for this. From his pocket, he took out a small device that could copy any electronic signal. He held it near the door's control panel. After a tense minute, the door slid open. Sun Wu slipped inside. The room was filled with large containers. Each one held a glowing green liquid. Floating in the liquid were small objects that looked like the one the Na'vi had taken from the cave. Sun Wu moved closer to look. Inside each container was also something that made his blood run cold. Pieces of human tissue. He took pictures with his hidden camera. Then he heard voices coming closer. He quickly hid behind a large machine. 2 Na'vi entered the room. One was Commander Taiho. The other was a Na'vi Sun Wu hadn't seen before. The extraction is not working, said the unknown Na'vi. We have tested 50 human samples now. The genetic material contains the code, but we cannot activate it. Taiho looked angry. The architects designed it to resist simple extraction. That is why we need live subjects. But even with live humans, we cannot make it work, said the other Na'vi. The code activates slightly, then stops. It's as if it's waiting for something. We don't have time to wait, said Taiho. The collapse is getting closer to our home system every day. If we cannot extract the solution from these humans willingly, we will take it by force. You mean? The second Na'vi didn't finish the sentence. Yes, said Taiho. Prepare the fleet. If the small-scale extraction fails, we will harvest the entire human population. The survival of our species is more important than theirs. Sun Wu felt sick. He had to warn Earth. He waited until the Na'vi left, then hurried back to his room. He had to find a way to get off the ship. The next morning, Dr. Kim had a breakthrough. I've decoded part of the hidden DNA sequence, she told Hani, excitedly. It's instructions for generating a quantum field of some kind. A weapon? Asked Han. No, I don't think so. It's more like a shield or barrier. And there's something else. The code is designed to work with human brainwaves. It can't be activated. By machines alone, it needs human minds. Han's phone rang. It was an emergency call from the Space Center. Captain, we've lost contact with the Na'vi ship, said a voice. All communication is down, and our satellites show more ships entering orbit. Dozens of them. Han looked at Jian with worry in his eyes. We need to find Sun Wu and get him off that ship. Sir, said the voice on the phone. There's something else. We're picking up a weak signal from inside the Na'vi vessel. It's Lieutenant Sun Wu. He's sending us video. Send it to my phone now, ordered Han. Moments later, Han and Jian watched the video Sun Wu had recorded. They saw the strange containers, heard Taiho's plan to harvest humans if necessary. We need to warn everyone, said Han. The Na'vi aren't visitors or friends. They're here to take something from us, something they think will save them from this collapse. But what is the collapse? Asked Jian. Before Han could answer, Professor Doyun rushed into the room. You need to see this, he said, turning on a TV. The news showed people around the world reporting strange dreams and headaches. Some people claimed to suddenly understand complex math or physics that they had never studied. It's starting, whispered Jian. The code in our DNA is activating. But why now? What triggered it? The Na'vi, said Han. They've been trying to extract it, and somehow that's woken it up. But it's not working the way they wanted. Instead of giving them what they want, it's giving humans new abilities. Jean looked thoughtful. The architects didn't design this as something to be taken. They designed it as a gift that would wake up when needed. And now we need it, said Han, because the Na'vi are preparing to take it by force. The ground suddenly shook beneath their feet. Outside, the sky flashed with strange lights. "It's begun," said Han. "We need to find a way to fully activate this code, this gift from the architects. It may be the only way to save humanity." Dr. Kim nodded, her face determined. "I think I know how. But we'll need Sunwoo's help, if he can escape from the Na'vi ship." They looked up at the sky, now filled with alien vessels. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. Lieutenant Sunwoo knew he had to escape the Na'vi ship. After sending his secret video to Earth, he began looking for a way out. His chance came during a mealtime when most Na'vi were busy. He slipped away from the other humans and made his way to the shuttle bay. There, small ships waited to carry people between the main ship and Earth. Sunwoo had watched carefully when the Na'vi pilots operated these shuttles. He believed he could fly one if he had to. As he entered the shuttle bay, an alarm began to sound. They had discovered he was missing. He ran to the nearest shuttle and jumped inside. The controls were strange but similar enough to aircraft he had trained on. His hands moved quickly over the glowing panels. The shuttle came to life, its engines humming. The bay doors were closed. Sunwoo saw Na'vi guards running toward him. He found what looked like a weapon control and fired at the doors. They broke apart, creating a hole to space. The sudden loss of air pulled everything toward the hole, but the shuttle's shields protected Sunwoo. He pushed the engines to full power and shot through the hole, heading toward Earth. "This is Lieutenant Sunwoo," he said into the shuttle's communication system. "I've escaped the Na'vi ship. Don't shoot me down. I'm coming home." On Earth, chaos was spreading. The sky was filled with Na'vi ships. World leaders argued about what to do. Some wanted to fight, others to surrender. Captain Han met Sunwoo when his stolen shuttle landed at the Korean Space Defense Base. "The Na'vi are preparing for a full attack," Sunwoo reported. "They need something in our DNA to save their civilization from something called the collapse. If they can't take it peacefully, they'll take it by force." Han nodded grimly. "Dr. Kim has made progress understanding the code hidden in our DNA. She's waiting for us at the lab." When they arrived, Jian and Professor Do-hyun were working with a team of scientists from around the world. The lab was full of equipment and busy people. "Sunwoo, you're safe," said Jian with relief. "We need your help. The Na'vi ships are positioning themselves around the planet. We don't have much time." "What have you learned?" asked Han. Jian pointed to a large screen showing a complex pattern. "This code in human DNA contains instructions for creating a quantum field that could protect us from the collapse. The same thing threatening the Na'vi." "What is this collapse?" asked Sunwoo. "From what we can tell, it's a wave of energy moving through space," explained Professor Do-hyun. "It destroys everything it touches. The Na'vi's home system is in its path." "But why is this protection in our DNA?" asked Han. "We think the architects, the ancient beings mentioned by the Na'vi, visited Earth long ago," said Jian. "They put this code in early humans as a safe place to store it. They designed it to activate when needed." "And it's activating now," said Sunwoo. "That's why people are having strange dreams and new abilities." Jian nodded. "But it's happening too slowly. We need to fully activate it before the Na'vi attack." "How do we do that?" asked Han. "We found that the cave paintings on Jeju Island are part of a global network," said Professor Do-hyun. "There are similar sites around the world. In Africa, Australia, Europe, the Americas, they're all connected somehow. The object the Na'vi took from the cave is a key," added Jian. "It helps control the activation. We need to get it back." Han looked out the window at the dark shapes of Na'vi ships in the sky. "I don't think they'll give it back if we ask nicely." Suddenly, Sunwoo stepped forward. "Wait, I have an idea. When I escaped, I saw other keys in the ship. What if we don't need that specific one? What if any key would work?" "It's possible," said Jian thoughtfully. "The system would need backups in case one key was lost." Sunwoo reached into his pocket and pulled out a small green object. It looked like the one the Na'vi had taken from the cave. "I grabbed this before I escaped," he said. "I didn't know what it was, but I thought it might be important." Professor Do-hyun carefully took the object. "This could work, but we still need to understand how to use it." The next few hours were a race against time. As Na'vi ships moved into attack positions around Earth, Jian's team worked to decode the final parts of the DNA instructions. "I think I understand," Jian said finally. "The quantum field can't be created by machines alone. It needs human minds to power it. Many human minds working together." "How many?" asked Han. "Thousands at least," said Jian. "Maybe millions. The more, the stronger the field. We need to tell everyone," said Sunwoo. "Get the message to every country, every person." Han nodded and began making calls. Within hours, the plan was shared with world leaders. Television, radio, and internet carried the message to people everywhere. At a specific time, everyone needed to focus their minds on protection, on a shield around Earth. Professor Do-hyun and his team took the key to Jeju Island, back to the cave where it all began. Other scientists went to similar sites around the world. "We don't know exactly what will happen," Jian admitted as they waited for the planned time. "But the architects designed this system to work with humans. I believe they meant it to help us." At the cave, Professor Do-hyun placed the key in the hidden hole in the wall. It fit perfectly and began to glow brighter. At exactly noon Korean time, people around the world closed their eyes and focused their minds as instructed. In the Jeju cave, the walls began to glow with light. The patterns that had seemed like simple paintings now shined with power. The key pulsed with energy. Professor Do-hyun and his team stepped back in awe. Similar events happened at caves and ancient sites across the planet. Lines of light connected these sites, visible from space like a glowing web around Earth. In her lab, Jian watched readings from sensors worldwide. "It's working," she exclaimed. "The quantum field is forming, but it's still not strong enough to cover the whole planet." Han looked worried. "The Na'vi ships are moving, they're starting their attack." On screens around the world, people watched as the alien ships opened fire. Energy beams shot toward Earth. But something strange happened. As more and more humans joined their minds in focus, the quantum field grew stronger. The ancient code, in human DNA fully activated, responding to the shared will of humanity. Where the Na'vi weapons hit the field, they simply vanished. The energy was absorbed and transformed. "The field is complete," shouted Jian, looking at her readings. "It covers the entire planet now." The Na'vi continued their attack, but nothing could break through the shield. After an hour, their ships stopped firing. A message came from the main Na'vi ship. It was Commander Taiho asking to speak with Earth's leaders. The meeting took place in a neutral location. Han, John, and Sunwoo were there, along with leaders from many countries. "We did not understand," said Taiho, his voice humble for the first time. "We thought the architect's gift could be taken. Now we see it was never meant for us." "What do you mean?" asked Han. "The architects created our species long ago," explained Taiho. "They gave us technology and knowledge. But when they saw how we use these gifts, they decided their next creation needed something different." "Humans," said Jian. Taiho nodded. "They did not give you advanced technology. Instead, they gave you the potential to develop it yourselves, in your own way. And they hid the quantum field technology in your DNA, designed to activate only when you were ready, when you truly needed it." "To protect us from the collapse," said Sunwoo. "Yes," said Taiho. "We have been running from the collapse for centuries. We thought we could take your protection for ourselves. We were wrong." The Na'vi leader looked genuinely sad. "The collapse will reach our home system in less than a year. Billions of our people will die." The human leaders looked at each other. Then one spoke. "Perhaps we can help each other," she said. "The quantum field works with human minds. If we can extend it, maybe we can protect your worlds too." Taiho looked surprised. "After what we tried to do, you would help us." "That's what makes humans different," said Han. "We understand mercy." In the months that followed, humans and Na'vi worked together. The quantum field technology was developed further. Ships carrying human volunteers traveled to Na'vi worlds, extending the protective field. When the collapse finally reached Na'vi space, the shield held. For the first time in their long history, the Na'vi knew true safety. On Earth, understanding the architect's gift led to new technologies and discoveries. Human knowledge expanded rapidly as people learned to use the abilities that had been hidden in their DNA all along. Jian, Han, and Sunwoo became leaders in the new Earth-Na'vi alliance. Together, they helped build a bridge between two civilizations that had almost destroyed each other. What the aliens found on Earth did change everything, but not in the way they had expected. The real change came when humans discovered what had been inside them all along, not just a tool or weapon, but the capacity to grow, to choose, and to show compassion even to those who had meant them harm. That was what the architects had truly left behind. That was their greatest gift.